Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, July 8th. Can I have a motion to open up tonight's meeting at 6:47?
I move.
Okay, Hillary. Second, Vicki? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and we are going to go, I'd like a motion, well, I'll just move into executive session tonight to seek advice of counsel, discuss potential litigation, to discuss contracts, and also matters of public health and safety. So I will move to go into exec also at 6:47. Can I have a second? Thank you, Holly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We'll see you in exec. Good evening, everyone, and come back to the public session. The board has been in executive session discussing, seeking the advice of counsel, discussing matters of potential litigation, discussing contracts, and also talking about matters of public health and safety. May I have a motion to reopen the public meeting at 8:30 p.m.?
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Warren. And a second? Vicki, I think.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Now if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, normally led by Holly McCall, but I think we have a special guest tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We now move over to the oaths of office, if I'm correct, Lisa.
You need to nominate.
I'm looking at the order.
If you look at number A in this letter A in your
Yes, I'm just looking to see if ours is first. Okay, yep. I will move that Victoria Tipp be elected President of the Board of Education for the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year. Do I have a second? Okay, Warren, thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I have a bunch of people are muted, by the way. If everyone could unmute, I can't hear certain people. Thank you. I move that Holly McCall be appointed to serve as Vice President of the Board of Education of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year. She shall have the power to exercise the duties of the President in case of absence or disability of the President. In the absence of both the President and the Vice President, Warren Messner is authorized to act in the capacity of President. Can I have a second for that?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Vicki. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so I am now going to swear in Vicki, Holly, and Christine. Repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of, please state your office,
That I would.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Superintendent,
Board of Education
of the Chappaqua Central School District,
of the Chappaqua Central
School District,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
of my
ability.
ability.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, I think
My
Vicki
error.
and I
I
were supposed to
Swear
be.
in Jane and Vicki as board members.
Yes,
My apologies.
that's okay. That's why I was at the up top.
That is
Okay.
my error.
It was there before. There was a revised and now it's not there.
Okay, so if Vicki and Jane could follow after me. I state your name.
I, Jane
Aye.
Kimmel Shepherdson,
Yep.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear
solemnly
that I will
swear
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution
of the
of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of
board member
board member
of the Chappaqua Central School District
of the
of the Chappaqua Central School District
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for school district clerk?
I move that Lisa Elsner be appointed school district clerk of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year. You're on mute.
Hillary, you're mute.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now I'm going to give the oath to Lisa. So Lisa, I guess you don't really have to stand.
No, I'll just read it. Shall I just read it, Vicki?
So you'll repeat after me.
Okay.
I, Lisa Elsner,
I, Lisa Elsner,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of District Clerk
the office of District Clerk
of the Chappaqua Central School District
of the Chappaqua Central School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay,
Thank you.
Lisa. It's official. May I have a motion for school district treasurer?
I move that Kathleen Lynch be appointed School District Treasurer of Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020 to 2021 school year.
I will second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for school district deputy treasurer?
I move that John Chow be appointed School District Deputy Treasurer of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for central treasurer for extracurricular activity fund?
Move that Kathleen Lynch be appointed Central Treasurer, Extracurricular Activity Fund of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for attendance officers?
I move that building administrators or their designees shall be appointed attendance officers for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for asbestos management plan design designee?
I move that Joseph Garamundo be appointed Asbestos Management Plan Designee for the 2020-21 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for claims auditor?
I move that Jonathan Ross shall be appointed Claims Auditor for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for Chief Emergency Officer and Co-Chief Emergency Officer?
I move that Joe Gramundo be appointed Chief Emergency Officer and John Chow be appointed Co-Chief Emergency Officer for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for 504 Title II ADA Compliance Officer and Student Disability Discrimination Compliance Coordinator?
I move that Tony Sinanis and Ellen Doherty be appointed 504/Title II ADA Compliance Officers/Student Disability Discrimination Compliance Coordinators for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to appoint members to the Committee on Special Education and Preschool Special Education?
I move that the individuals listed on the attached memo from Rosemary Matthews be appointed to the Committees on Special Education and Preschool Special Education for the 2020-2021 school year.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to appoint homeless liaisons?
I move that Lisa Biseglia and Ellen Doherty be appointed homeless liaisons for the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to appoint the rotational list of impartial hearing officers as determined by New York State Department of Education?
I move that the rotational list of impartial hearing officers be determined, or as determined by the New York State Department of Education, be appointed for the 2020-2021 school year. The list shall also include the names of other certified impartial hearing officers requested to serve in the district. Impartial hearing officers shall be selected, appointed, and compensated in accordance with Policy 3030.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for Medicaid compliance officer?
I move that Tony Sinanis and Ellen Doherty be appointed Medicaid compliance officers for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. May I have a motion for the internal auditor?
I move that Tobin and Company be appointed internal auditor for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for payroll certification officers?
I move that John Chow and Tony Sinanis be appointed payroll certification officers of Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for property control manager?
I move that Michael Trinick be appointed Property Control Manager of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for purchasing agent and alternate purchasing agent?
I move that Michael Trinick be appointed purchasing agent and John Chow be appointed alternate purchasing agent for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for records management and access officer?
I move that John Chow be appointed records management and access officer of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for the appointment of the school district attorney?
I move that the firm of Shaw, Pearlson, May, and Lambert, LLP, be appointed school district attorney of Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for appointment of school district independent auditor?
I move that the firm of PKF O'Connor Davies LLP be appointed as school district independent auditor of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for surrogate parent as required by CSE CPSC guidelines?
I move that Amy Ansell be appointed surrogate parent of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for Title IX compliance officers?
I move that Tony Sinanis, Jamie Edelman, Andrew Corsilia, Ronald Gamma, Adam Schoenbart, and Laurelyn Stewart, Joseph Weiner, Nicole Kelly, Joseph Mazza, and Nicole Mangieri be appointed Title IX, Title VII, Title VI compliance officers for the 2020-21 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. May I have a motion for Title VII and Title VI compliance officers?
I move that Tony Sinanis and Jamie Edelman be appointed Title VII and Title VI compliance officers for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for DASA coordinators?
I move that Tony Sinanis, Jamie Edelman, Andrew Corsilia, Siska Bursart, Ronald Gamma, Adam Schoenbart, Laura Lynn Stewart, Joseph Wiener, Nicole Kelly, Joseph Mazza, Nicole Mangieri, Carol Bartlick, Deborah Alspach, Roaring Brook Elementary School principal to be determined, Russ Cooper, James Skoog, and Elisa Stover be appointed DASA coordinators for the 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the motion carries. May I have a motion for depositories?
I move that Bank of New York, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Commerce Bank, M&T Bank, TD Bank, Webster Bank, Signature Bank, People's United Bank, and NYLAF designated as depositories for the funds of the Chappaqua Central School District for the 2020-21 school year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for investments?
I move that Kathleen Lynch, Treasurer, and John Chow, Deputy Treasurer, be authorized to take appropriate action in the investment of school district funds during the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for newspapers?
I move that for the purpose of advertising bids and other legal notices during the 2020-2021 school year, the Journal News as newspaper of record, the Examiner, or the New York Times be designated.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for petty cash?
I move that petty cash accounts in accordance with policy be approved for the 2020-21 school years as follows. Petty cash Superintendent's Office, $100. Douglas G. Grafflin Elementary School, $100. Roaring Brook Elementary School, $100. West Orchard Elementary School, $100. Horace Greeley High School, $100. Robert E. Bell Middle School, $100. Seven Bridges Middle School, $100.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for treasurer's bond?
I move that the treasurer's bond in the amount of $100,000 as executed by NYSER be approved as to form and sufficiency for the 2020-2021 school year.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last one. May I have a motion for a data protection officer?
Hillary.
Hillary?
I don't have that.
That was in
Oh,
the
okay.
revised agenda that was sent, that Josh Block.
It's okay. It's okay, Hillary. Yeah, it was a revision, but someone else can.
I'll jump in and Hillary can second.
Okay.
I move to appoint Joshua Caldwell Block as Data Protection Officer for the 2020-2021 school year.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Okay. Thank you very much for going through all of that. So we have the oath of office that have been administered. So now I'd like to move on to recommended action.
No, I think we're at number 5, Information
President's
Business
report.
Affairs, the President's Report.
Okay, you are correct. Thank you. So we'll move to the President's report. Sorry, that looked like instructional recommended action, which would have been out of order. So I'd just like to say good evening again and welcome to everyone to our first meeting of the 2020-2021 school year. I know it doesn't feel like the first meeting because school hasn't started yet, but it's the first meeting of our fiscal year. So we're all excited for the beginning of a new year, and there's a lot in store for the year ahead, and we're looking forward to making a lot of progress together. So I hope that everyone is having a good start of the summer. We're happy to welcome new administrators and staff. I also want to welcome the new PTA leadership, President Kelly Mofield and Vice President Peggy Machado. We're looking forward to working with you in your new roles. We had a really great and very productive start of the year with the administrative retreat that the board was invited to join. The retreat was this past Monday and Tuesday, and the topic was on anti-racism and social justice education in Chappaqua. We had 2 presenters and moderators from the NYU Metropolitan Center for Research on Equity and the Transformation of Schools. And we covered topics such as expanding our common language, unpacking common terms, having a culturally responsive, sustaining education, and inclusive curriculum. We looked at a culturally responsive curriculum scorecard, which is a great tool to assess the work being done to diversify the curriculum. And we did some work on our implicit biases. We also had Doctors Brenda and Franklin Campbell-Jones, who attended our last meeting, and they led talks on equity, inclusion, and transformative action in schools. And we covered issues such as constructive conversations and tools for cultural proficiencies and bringing about systemic change. So the efforts have begun to make changes to our curriculum and school culture and environments. And it's starting with highly personal work and an understanding of the importance of authentic, honest conversations. So everyone reaffirmed a strong commitment to embedding this work on an ongoing basis and having it become part of the fabric of our school community. And I just want to express a lot of appreciation to Christine and all of the administrators for including the board. It's a real privilege for us to see firsthand the high level of thinking involved and the dedication to the work. So thank you so much, Christine, Adam, John, Tony, and all of the other district and building level administrators. So I know you'll continue to do this important work, and we'll be doing it with you and the community throughout the summer and into next year. So I just want to give the board members, if you want an opportunity to say anything about the retreat or not, we could talk about it another time. But
No,
I'll open it up.
I'd just like to say one thing. I'd like to thank Jane again for her leadership last year and for Holly for leading the board through a very good year and sometimes a little tough year. We had a lot of things going on. So thank you very much. I'd also like to congratulate you, Vicki and Holly, for being our president and vice president this year. And we look forward to your leadership in helping run our district.
Thank you, Warren.
Anyone else?
I did. I wanted to say thank you to you again, Jane, and to you, Vicki. Jane, for all of your service last year and through these very challenging times, keeping us headed in the right direction with our brains. And Vicki, thank you for what you're going to do for us this year. Generally, I just want to say to Christine and the administrators, I am very grateful for the opportunity to have joined you guys in the anti-racist and social justice work over the last 2 days. I continue to be impressed with the quality of the discussions, the willingness to look inside, and the deep commitment that I see to this work by the administrators and the staff that were there. So thank you. I do feel privileged to have been able to spend that time, and I look forward to continuing to work on this. I think they told us this isn't something on our plate, this is the plate, and I embrace that. Thanks.
I just wanted to say that I really look forward to Vicki and Holly's leadership this year. We all support you and are very thankful that you're taking on this task. I know there's a lot of challenging work ahead, reopening our schools, changing the culture in our schools, changing the curriculum, and I feel very grateful to be working with all of my fellow board members. I think this is a very dedicated and very functional board, and I think we're all very fortunate to work with the administration that we have. We really do have a remarkable, forward-thinking, hardworking group of administrators in our district. We're very thankful that they include us in these retreats. It's really helpful for us to see all the work that goes into everything that the students get on the other side. I know it's a nice window that we get as board members to see really what goes into making this the type of school district that it is. I feel very thankful to participate in it. And I just want the administrators to know how much we appreciate them. And I want the community to know how hard all of us will be working together to do the best for all of our students and our families this year. Thank you.
I want to just reemphasize the thanks and also say, I know we have a number of community members with us tonight. And to say, you know, we obviously are weighted, as is everybody else, in terms of guidance and what we're allowed to do or not do. But to just reiterate, as it's our first meeting of the new school year, that the board remains very committed to being responsive to hearing from you, to working with you, regardless of whether we're allowed to be back in our buildings or not. We know a number of people have reached out, and please know that we encourage you to continue to reach out, even if we can't be together in person yet, which we are hopeful we will be again soon.
Okay, thanks everyone. And I want to reiterate what everyone said. Thank you so much, Jane, for your leadership last year. You led us through some really great initiatives, good times, and also some very challenging times. So I look forward to this year working with a really strong board and a strong administrative team. So I'd like to address for a moment the reopening of schools. I want to start by thanking our teachers and administrators, and especially the students and parents, for the incredible effort that was required to move really quickly and unexpectedly to adapt to the closing of our schools and distance learning. I know that this has affected families in different ways, and we recognize the challenges that the closing of schools has caused. The board has been receiving a number of letters from parents on the effect of school closure on their children and asking us to reopen schools in the fall. So we share the serious concerns and are doing all that we can to prepare. And Christine will be talking about reopening plans, but this is a state decision that's made by the governor, and it's not a local decision. And I just wanted to read to you a reiteration of that the governor's office sent on July 2nd. And in his communications, he says that state law governing schools and business closings or openings has been in effect since the pandemic first started, and all such decisions are made by state government and not local government. The governor has also told all school districts to have plans ready for the new normal in the event schools can open. The governor hopes schools will reopen but will not endanger the health of students or teachers, and will make the determination once we have more current information. And he says again, we value the opinion of local politicians and the state's 700 local school districts as to what should be done, but the public should not be confused on this important decision that has practical consequences for many. So those are in the governor's words. And so just to let people know that we take guidance from the state on these issues. They will issue guidance by July 13th, and local school district plans are to be submitted by July 31st, and the governor has said that he will announce a decision between August 1st and 7th. So like I said, our superintendent, Dr. Ackerman, will discuss the reopening plan in her report. Also, I want to touch on the Board Advisory Committee on Anti-Racism, Diversity, and Social Justice. Just a very quick, short update. We will be scheduling a board work session very shortly to discuss and agree on a process to staff the committee and to ensure that it's done in an equitable and inclusive way. And the hope is that we would establish a process that we can use to staff other committees. And we're looking to be more inclusive in our committee work in general and have broader community input. So I would like to get to item 5.1.1. These are board, committee, and liaison assignments. So to start off, may I have a motion to approve item 5.1.1?
I will move.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I'll go through all of the assignments, and please let me know if there's something missing or something that's not accurate. So we have the Audit Committee. All board members will be members of the Audit Committee. For communications, we have Jane and myself. For policy, we'll have Warren and Hillary. Facilities, we'll have Holly and Warren. Health and Wellness, Hillary. Green Committee, Warren. And for liaison positions for the PTA, it would be me, as it's traditional to have the board president. CSF will be Jane. That's a change this year. Coalition for Youth, Holly. Horace Greeley Scholarship Fund, Hillary. Sports Boosters, Jane. WPSBA and Advocacy, Vicky. And the Board Advisory Committee on Anti-Racism, Diversity, and Social Justice will be myself and Holly. And so that is it, I believe. Am I missing anything?
I think we're good.
Nope.
We're good? Okay, may I have a motion to approve board, committee, and liaison assignments?
We already moved.
We moved. We just have to.
Sorry, okay, so all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. So at this time, I'd like to ask for the board to approve an amendment to the consent agenda with 2 walk-on items, items 8.15 and 8.16. So may I have a motion and a second?
I'll move. Oh, let Warren move.
And may I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and I will read the walk-on items. If you'll please be patient with me, I will retrieve them. I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble. Hang on a second. Lisa, can I
Yeah.
ask you where you put the walk-on
I
items,
sent
please?
you a revised agenda, Vicky,
Yeah,
and I also sent you an email with the exact wording of both items.
that's what I'm looking for. So I apologize for the delay, everyone.
Vicky, would it be easier if I just read it in for you?
I have it.
Okay.
Okay. So item 8.15, be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby concurs with the determination of the Superintendent of Schools dated June 23rd, 2020, upholding Principal Andrew Corsilia's 5-day suspension of student number 070820. And be it further resolved that the board hereby authorizes the board president to sign the board determination letter on behalf of the Board of Education and directs the district clerk to send the board determination letter to the students' parents. Item 8.16, be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes its president to sign a tender agreement with MGM Insurance Company as surety and Empire Corp Group LLC as tender contractor for project work at the Horace Greeley High School and Chappaqua Library, as presented to the board at this meeting and subject to final review by the school attorney. A copy of said agreement shall be incorporated by reference within the minutes of this meeting. Okay. All in favor for amending the consent agenda with these items, please say aye.
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 Okay. I believe that's unanimous. Thank you. And now we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Vicki. Before I go, I know we had, because the agenda is different tonight, we were going to provide an opportunity for the committee reports before I went. Right? So I didn't know if any of the committees wanted to report out.
Yeah, actually, if this is a good time, we have a facilities committee update. Is that okay, Vicki?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So the facilities committee has met twice recently, on June 25th and July 8th, which was just today. The primary focus has been on reopening our fields and track and courts. And so as of right now, the committee is recommending that the district begin reopening for certain low-risk activities. Specifically right now, the reopening of the tennis courts, the running track, and the throwing pit. And we recommend that the fields and school playgrounds remain closed for now. And then, as Vicki mentioned, we're also taking a look at the way that the committee is structured. And when we meet in our work session, we'll make some suggestions as to how we may have a facilities committee and perhaps a community advisory committee on facilities. But we'll have more details after we have worked out our committee processes. Warren, did you want to add anything?
Did it perfectly.
All right, so the district will open those areas on Monday. We have to do some prep work in order to make that happen. And then I'll send a communication out on Saturday morning with a updated reminder about the thought exchange. Okay? Does this sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Okay, so let me just share my screen. Thank you. Okay, so for the superintendent's report tonight, and this is one of the reorganization meeting is not a meeting where we typically have a presentation, but I would like to highlight a few things for the community. The first is, if you saw the news today, you saw that Governor Cuomo had come out with his plan in terms of how he saw himself making a decision as to whether or not school would be in physical session in September. So this is the timeline. Next week, State Ed is supposed to give all districts, public schools, regulatory guidance on how we should be thinking about opening our buildings in September. So right after that happens, we have a team that's going to meet starting on Tuesday, and we're going to be looking at that guidance and start to craft what our reentry will look like as a district. Now, how we're going to do that will depend on what that guidance looks like on Monday. But I can tell you that we're prepared to have everyone come back. We're prepared to have everyone remote, and we're prepared to be able to do some sort of blended model. It's just waiting to see what that guidance looks like so we can make those decisions. But if you've been following along the way, we have been able to position ourselves with our technology, with our cleaning supplies, with some of the pre-purchasing we've been able to do to be able to maneuver whatever model we were able to based on what that guidance looks like. So then it's my assumption that they will give us some mechanism to submit a plan by July 31st, but they haven't shared any of that with any of the local school districts. So what I plan on doing next week, as soon as I understand what the guidance is I will release that to the community so they understand what our committee will be grappling with. And then I will, based on what that looks like, I'll be able to project out when we'll be able to release the plan to the community of what September will look like. But of course, all of that is under the auspice of the governor allowing us to move forward with opening, which we won't know whether or not he's going to do until August. And just a reminder, this is what our committee looks like. We have parents, we have faculty, we have staff members, we have some experts that'll be involved. We have a few people beyond this list that will be joining us as well next Tuesday when we'll begin our meetings, but we do have a team of people that will be coming together. And we also know, I also want to reassure the community that if we have to have remote instruction in September, that will look different than it did in March. It will have will have more structure to it, because what would happen in September is that we'd have to be building relationships with students in a very different way than what happened in March. And we understand that. So we also will be using the information that we gleaned from our thought exchange to help drive some of the decisions that we'll be making as a school community on how we're going to move forward. So I do want to share with you, because of what had happened with the coronavirus cluster that our community experienced about a week ago. We had I hit the pause button on having in-person extended school year for our students, but we will be moving forward with having that at Seven Bridges starting next week. And I want to thank the Department of Health and our faculty and our bus drivers, because yesterday we facilitated testing for all of the adults that will be in close contact with our students in order to add another layer of safety in terms of facilitating our program because of what was happening in our community. So I'm happy to say that this afternoon I was able to make the decision that we would be able to hold this in person, and we'll be sharing that out with our families tomorrow. And then we'll be inviting our students in on Monday, and we'll be following the protocols that we had put in place prior to the start of the summer. So on the agenda tonight, you'll see that Christy Evers has decided to step back from being an administrator, and she we wish her very well. She's gone back to teaching. So we're making some adjustments to our PPS structure. As you already know, Ellen Doherty will be coming to the district in September, and Rosemary Matthews has agreed to stay on to help support the directorship until Ellen is able to hire someone to fill that role. And Dr. DeLessio, who's been working primarily with our secondary families over the course of the past 2 years, is able to help support us as well, because Rosemary Matthews will be in a dual role starting in August. So we're happy to have Betsy come and offer her expertise to us to help us see us through this time period. And then we've appointed our CSE chairs in that we've hired Joseph Drew, and then we have 2 of our psychologists who've moved into these chair roles out of the building. So we are moving forward, and I appreciate Christy and her service, and I wish her well. She's notified our families, so we'll be sending out a communication regarding how we see ourselves moving forward for the rest of the summer. And I was hoping that Tony could update us on the Roaring Brook principal process. So Tony, could you update the community?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. We actually had committee interviews today as part of the Roaring Brook principal search. And thank you to Vicki and Holly for joining us as 2 of the representatives on the board. We had a cross-section of key stakeholders who participated on the interviews, from administrators, teachers, administrative assistants, parents, and students, who were great, asked really great questions. So we have a strong candidate pool and are excited about next steps in the process. I am hopeful that we will have a candidate to recommend to the board within the next 2 weeks. I know the next board meeting is scheduled for August, but my hope is that we'll have someone before that. So, yeah.
And so if you look at the agenda, thank you, Tony. If you look at the agenda tonight, you'll see that Doreen is ending her principalship early here. And so Jamie Edelman will be filling her shoes until we have a new person in position, but we do anticipate having someone, of course, on September 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Tony, for leading that process for us. And then we have some professional development on the agenda tonight. So Adam, could you take a minute to explain what we're contracting with?
Of course, thank you. The board had approved, to start with 8.9, the board had approved a contract with a company, E2M Solutions. So that contract was already approved, but we wanted to add a piece of functionality. That company is actually building a ruler website for our faculty, and we're going to be able to load it with all of the ruler resources for our faculty. It'll have other functionality like discussion boards and the ability for our faculty to share resources and lesson plans and things like that. And we'll have the whole ruler curriculum loaded in there. But they've given us the opportunity to have this an additional single sign-on with Google. So that will just help us for $300, help things be more seamless for our faculty. So that small change will increase the accessibility of that site. So we asked the board to approve 8.9. 8.10, you may remember CSF, a generous CSF donation. CSF, through an Instagrant process, we had Susan Lunny and Regina McKee submitted an Instagrant to get enough of the novel Night for all of our 10th graders to read it at the same time. So the CSE approved an Insta grant of just under $2,000, which the board had already approved in the winter of this past year. We're asking for 1 day of professional development. Jean Rose is a teacher in a nearby school district, and she's been doing this activity called A Night in a Day, where 10th graders read the novel Night in a Day, and they engage with a series of speakers. Night, if you're not familiar with it, is about the Holocaust. And so it's an intense experience for 10th graders. And one of the really interesting and exciting things about this opportunity is that these students are in upper L, or the hope is that they will be in upper L because they're 10th graders, and we have English and social studies students there. So we'll be able to utilize that as a kind of an interdisciplinary experience, which is exciting for us because that was the vision of that upper L space originally. And then the last one, we just lost the screen share, but that's okay. I'll kind of talk through that next one if we can get that back up. The next one, 8.12, 8.12, I thought Vicki did a really nice job summarizing. That's the contract that we had with NYU for them, the NYU Metro Center, for them to present at the administrative retreat on the 6th and the 7th. So Vicki talked, I was going to summarize a little bit, but I think Vicki did a really nice job summarizing their work around social justice and anti-racist work. So those are the three things that you'll see from curriculum and instruction on the agenda tonight.
Thank you, Adam. And I do want to take a moment. I know the board thanked us for having them be a part of our administrative leadership retreat, but I really want to extend my gratitude to the Board of Education for learning alongside of us and being part of our educational community in a way that I'm not used. I've never seen board members be so engaged in a way that our Board of Education is in our leadership development and our curriculum, the way that this Board of Education is. So I do want to express my gratitude on behalf of the administration for your support and your willingness to join us and learn alongside of us. So thank you. Thank you for that. And that concludes my superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Okay, so that leads us to the public comment period. We welcome public comments, and I just want to go over the usual protocols in respect for each other's time. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Board members may be contacted via email or phone if you'd like to speak more extensively to us. After the public comment period has been completed, board members may have a discussion among themselves regarding the comments presented. So I'd like to ask anyone who'd like to make public comment to please raise your hand, and we'll call on you in the order that your hands have been raised. So if you could please do that now. And we'll move you over. I see Sid Falkson. David, can you please move him over?
I'm muted. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you turn on your video?
Yes.
There you are.
Hi.
Just please state your name and please go ahead. Hello.
Right. My name is Sid Falkson. I have a Roaring Brook rising second grader. And my question is for Dr. Ackerman. You said that y'all have been busy making preparations for the fall. And I was wondering if you could be a little bit more elaborative as to those plans, and specifically as it relates to distance learning and your recognition that the distance learning that went on in the spring was not ideal, to say the least. What actions have you taken in terms of district-wide coordination across the elementaries to have a more thoughtful, appropriate curriculum for the fall?
Sid, I just want to let you know that the board has a protocol that we've agreed on, that we don't do a back and forth discussion during public comment period. But we're happy to listen to your questions.
Okay.
And we might talk about them at the end or address those questions in a different way. But we appreciate hearing the points that you have to make.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You still have some time, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that was my first question. An additional question I have is, will the board be sharing a revised budget following the closing of last year's school year, recognizing that at least for the last 3 months, I'm sure that the budget in some ways looked different. And so I'm curious how that landed. And in addition, for the 3 plans that have been submitted or being worked on for the upcoming year, I'm sure that that looks very different from a budget perspective versus the budget that was just approved. And so I would like to better understand the delta for the 3 different reopening plans versus the budget that was approved. So I guess those are the 2 main areas of my questioning.
Okay, thank you very much
Sure.
for bringing up those issues. We appreciate that. Okay, anyone else would like to make a public comment? No, okay, I'm not seeing anyone raise their hands. So we will move on then. Okay. I'd like to go to approvals and ratifications in item 6. So may I have a motion to approve items 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3 together? These are the minutes of the June 22nd, June 23rd, and July 6th minutes. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
And a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Or I should say to accept the minutes, not approve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I'll move on to recommended action.
I recommend 7.1 instructional as presented.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for item 7.1.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 I recommend 7.2 non-instructional as presented.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for item 7.2.
Jane, I think you're muted. But I see that you seconded. Okay.
Geez, it's just a little lag time with the unmute. Yes, I second
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Okay, and now we will move on to item 8, our consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda allows the board to make more effective use of its time by adopting a single motion to cover relatively routine matters which are included. So if any member of the board wishes to discuss a particular piece of business individually on the consent agenda, please indicate that to us, and the item will be considered and voted on separately. Would anyone like to do that at this time? So may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
And may I have a second?
A second.
Okay. And just so briefly people can know what's in the consent agenda, we are approving CSD summaries. We are changing policy 9040 just to include a new title of Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Personnel Services to be included in the monthly car allowances and fixing Josh Block's title. We have the assistant principals who are authorized to act as the principal in the event that the principal is not physically present for purposes of short-term student discipline matters. We have a supplemental defense indemnification resolution for the board. We have retainer agreements for our external auditor and for legal counsel and for claims auditor. We have approvals of professional development contracts, and we are extending our superintendent's employment agreement. So that is what the consent agenda consists of. May I have a motion? May I have a motion to, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Facilities, I believe we've had a facilities report. Is there anything else to discuss on facilities? No?
No, I think we're good for now.
Okay.
Vicky, public comment did end, correct?
It did, yes.
Someone has their hand up, so you might want to mention that. Put it down, okay. Now they raise it again.
Sorry about that. I waited for a while and I didn't see a hand up, but public comment period has expired. But if you'd like to communicate with the board, please feel free to email us. We're happy to hear from you. Okay, we have no financials today. Item 11, organization. We have item 11.1, which is the annual affirmation of all policies previously adopted by the board. This is required by state law, and we do that every year as a routine matter. So may I have a motion to approve item 11.1?
I move 11.1.
May I have a second?
I second.
Oh, let Hillary second.
Okay.
Can I
And-
say something? Is that okay?
Yeah,
So-
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to be very clear. Well, this is an affirmation of all policies. It does not include the code of conduct. That's a different process. And we've had a lot of discussion about how we need to make some adjustments to that, and that will be done through the policy committee over the summer. But that's not included in this motion right now for approval. Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Thanks.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Notice of future meetings. Our next meeting, our regularly scheduled meeting will be Wednesday, August 5th at 7:30 p.m. We will cover the tax warrant. And the meeting following that will be Tuesday, September 1st, which will be at 10:30 a.m. And that will be for opening day of schools. It says Horace Greeley High School Academic Commons. I hope that that can happen. But if not, we'll be doing it through Zoom. And I also want to remind everyone that, as I stated, we'll be scheduling a separate meeting pretty soon, possibly next week, to have a work session to discuss the staffing of our committees.
I have a question, Vicki. On the 5th of August, which is our tax warrant meeting, we normally, I believe, have a roll call vote, and then we have to actually sign it there, sign the tax warrant. I'm not sure how that's going to work this year. Maybe we can get, maybe Lisa get some direction from the state on that.
I will
So,
work.
Lisa, do you know if the signatures have to be done on the day of the vote?
The signatures for instance, for tonight's oaths of office, we were allowed an additional 30 days to get your signatures in person. So I will check with Margot May, our counsel, and find out what the requirements are, and we'll comply with those.
Maybe we'll be able to be in person by then.
Let's hope so. Okay, thank you, Lisa. And that brings us to the end. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:28 p.m.?
I move.
May I have a second? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.